All right, everyone, I'm back here at Cave Comics in Newtown, Connecticut with the one and only King of the Nerds, Mitch Hallock. Mitch, how's it going? Nice to see you again.
Hey, Michael, how are you? It's been, what, a year already?
Almost, yeah.
Wow, that's great. Crazy.
Now,
What's up?
not much. Now, we're on the eves
Eves.
of Terrificon, but before Terrificon,
Eve Green.
we
Yes.
had CtGamercon for its third annual year.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on how the third annual one went?
I tell you, Mike, every year they keeps getting bigger and bigger. That was our, 3 GamerCons and 8 Comic Cons. So that was my 11th show, and you were there.
Yep.
We made the walls big. We pulled the walls back. We combined the dealer room and the video game tournaments and the tabletop stuff. So yeah, it was pretty well received. So I guess we'll have to do it again.
Definitely. And
Get away from it.
being someone who's not really a gamer, going there with one of my good friends who's never been to a convention, but he's into like classic video games.
Oh
and
yeah, how do you like it?
He loved it.
Oh,
Like
yeah?
he wanted to just walk the whole thing first, get a feel for it, and was immediately sucked in. And then we did like a man of the street thing, which I'm currently working on. That'll be
yeah?
posted. So we were asking people questions, and we had a great time.
Did you buy stuff?
I
What'd you buy?
surprisingly
You didn't buy any Funkos again?
did not buy any
Really?
Funkos.
Good for you. It's working. The 12-step program's working.
These Marvel Legends, though, and
Really? I know. I was looking at one when we got here. I was like, I don't have this. Okay. That's a Diamond Select, actually. Anyway.
very tempting.
Yes, it was a very good show.
Yeah.
We'll see you again next March,
And
21st.
this coming August is Terrificon.
Yeah,
and
the 5th time over at Mohegan Sun, yeah.
what are your thoughts going into, you said, the 8th Terrificon now?
Oh, well, the problem is this, is you got to top yourself every year because you do a good show, and the first thing people want to know when the next one is. So you can't ever, relax, because if you do, it won't work well. So this year we're going even heavier on the comic creators. So we've got Donnie Cates, Tom King, Clay Mann, legendary Jim Steranko, J. Michael Straczynski, George Perez for his final convention appearance ever. So come over and see George. More people we haven't announced yet. We're going to have Marv Wolfman and Howard Chaykin's coming back because you got to have those if you got George. We've got Jim Starlin coming back for the Infinity Gauntlet. We've got Mike Grell. First time Mike Grell will be here. I haven't announced that one yet, so I don't know when this is going to go on, but there'll be more guests coming too. But we've got John Cazaday, the artist, coming. We've got Jay Lee, Ron Lim, I already mentioned, but a bunch of them. Michael Cho, who does a lot of great covers. He just did the Detective Comics 1000 cover. A bunch. A lot. I mean, yeah, so that's it. It's going to be the biggest group of writers and artists of comic books in all New England is coming to Mohegan Sun August 9th and the 11th.
And that truly, as we've talked about this in past interviews, what separates your show from others. You focus on the comics of the Comic-Con. You bring in the artists, you bring in the writers, and it's always run so well, and everyone's always so happy for the most part. You talk
There's
to these
$20 for saying that. Thank you very much. Yes.
guys. And it's just awesome, like, other than, meeting these legendary people, getting to talk with them, and it's always a great atmosphere and a great experience.
Well, you know what? They all talk to each other because it's like a very small community. I mean, when you look at all the millions of comic books out there, there's only a small handful of people that actually write and produce these things and draw them and stuff. So if there's a good show, they tell their friends. They say, hey, if you got a chance, go to Connecticut because it's a great venue. It's a beautiful facility at Mohegan Sun. The new expo center is gigantic, well-lit, bright, lots of room, free parking, all that stuff. And the guests really enjoy themselves because these guys go to these shows all year round. I mean, they go to, the big shows in San Diego, New York, and then they'll end up in, like, even Boise, Idaho or something like that. So I think it's a breath of fresh air when they come to Mohegan Sun because it's not like any other convention center out there. And like you said, I try to focus on comic books because I grew up as a huge comic book reader, and yourself and everybody else watching this. I wanted to work in comics. I drew. So I'm almost like the frustrated, like a ball player. I didn't make the major leagues, so you end up, buying a team or something so you can still say you're in the game. So, yeah, I couldn't work for Marvel Comics. So I run a comic book convention, and those people come to my show that I grew up reading and stuff. So it's kind of like, oh, look, I'm in the movie industry. I'm an usher at the local theater, so that counts. I'm in the movies. I'm in show business. So, yeah, so I really enjoy this. I would do this every week, but you can't do it. I would do it 2 or 3 times a year, but it just takes away from it because, like my wife says, Christmas comes once a year for a reason because it takes away if it's every other Tuesday. But, no, I mean, I sit there all year round. I get my previews book, and I go through it, and I see what new books are coming out, and I see what the names are behind them, and I'm like, I want to meet that guy. I want to meet this guy because, I'm huge fans of it. So, yeah. So I guess that answers your question. Yes, that's the big thing about it.
Definitely, and wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't ask about media guests.
Oh, yeah. That's the other side of the coin because people do want to see stuff. So, to answer your question, we got Val Kilmer coming because this is the 80th anniversary of Batman, and it's the 30th of the Batman movie. So I couldn't get Michael Keaton, so I got the next guy to play him. Oh, I'll be buying that. So we got Val Kilmer coming. From the Batman movie, we've got Billy D. Williams, a.k.a. Lando Calrissian from the Star Wars movies, who's actually coming back for the episode 9 that comes out in December. We got Robert Wool, who was the reporter in Batman, who played Alexander Knox. He was never at a comic book show, and I've been talking to him for months. And Robert will call up and he's like, hey, this is Robert Wool. How's everything going? Yeah. I was Arliss. I go, I know. I was in Good Morning Vietnam. Yeah. Hollywood Nights. I'm like, yeah, I know. So he's coming. He doesn't know what to expect. So he's like, how are the fans going to receive me? I'm like, I don't know. And you know what I'm doing this year I didn't really do before? I always had like voiceover actors. I've had Kevin Conroy. I had Larry Kenney from Thundercats who lives up the street. But this year I was like, let's go heavy on the voice actors. So we got the Animaniacs. We've got Pinky and the Brain, the voices behind those, Maurice LaMarche, Ron Paulson. We also have Jess Harnell, I think I'm saying that right. And then we also have Phil Lamar, who you might remember in front of the camera. He was in everything from Pulp Fiction to Mad TV, but he's also the Green Lantern on the Justice League cartoons, and he's done a ton of other work. He was also in Static Shock. But Phil will be there as well. A bunch of other guests I haven't announced yet because it's only April. And the show's still 5 months from today, I think, actually. So you can't give everybody the presents right away. They got to wait, because there's no fun on Christmas Day if you know what you're getting under the tree. So that'll be coming soon. And cosplayers, gaming, we'll have tabletop games. We'll have video games, as always. Kids Fun Zone. I'm going to see Franco over at All Yeah Comics right after we're done with this and start planning that out. It's just going to be fun. Plus, you're at the Mohegan Sun, so you don't know. Once you're done, you can walk out that door, and there's 50-something restaurants to choose from, and, gambling if you like that, and there's restaurants and all that other fun stuff. So, yeah. So it'll be a good time. And plus, free parking, kids under 8 are free, and tickets only $30. Come on. I've been to some shows. You don't always get your money's worth, so I want to make sure you get a good value,
Now, I watched your interview at BoomTube Comics, and you almost kind of teased on a possible adding a third show.
Oh, yeah.
Is there anything about that, or am I just over-speculating?
No. I got to keep busy because I'm driving my wife crazy now that the kids are in school and there's nobody home and the dog's sick of walking everywhere. So we do GamerCon in March, right around after winter when it's, starting to warm up and people have been, stuck in the house for a couple months. They want to do something. Then we do Terrificon in August. So there's the talk of me doing another show at Mohegan Sun probably in the fall, like around November-ish. And I don't know what to do because I got people telling me to do anime shows. I got people telling me or begging me to do a horror convention, a big horror show. I got another friend of mine who says wants to do fishing convention, so I don't know if that's going to appeal to anybody out there, but he wants to do freshwater fishing equipment. But yeah, I don't know. So if you got any suggestions, Tony Todd was a big hit a couple years ago. He's a horror guy as well, and why not?
I've been to the one in New Jersey called Monster Mania Con.
Yeah, I've heard about that. Yeah.
And the attendance that goes there,
yeah.
And I'm just thinking when I'm there, I'm like, if Mitch Hallock had the reins of horror convention and the Mohegan Sun Arena, if you bring in the right people, like the horror community is an amazing following.
Yeah. See, all I know about horror is I know like monster movie stuff, like Universal and Godzilla and King Kong. That's to me horror, but I don't really know much about Saw and is that the one with the puppet?
Yes.
Yeah. Saw, and then there's Chucky. See, I wasn't into that stuff because in the '80s I was like, you had two ways to go. You could either read Starlog magazine, which was like George Lucas, Steven Spielberg, Joe Dante, all those guys, or you read Fangoria, which was Tom Savini, Day of the Dead, what's the fella's name from Pittsburgh that made The Day of the Dead? I can't think of his name.
Romero?
George Romero.
Yeah.
It was all that stuff. It was all horror movie things, you know? And I was more of the science fiction comic book guy. I wasn't into horror. So I really didn't follow that. So I actually have never sat through or have a ticket to any of the Freddy Krueger pictures or Friday the 13th movies or Halloween. I've never seen it. I've never seen The Exorcist. It's weird, isn't it? But I've seen Star Wars 2,322 times, but I've never seen any of that stuff.
Or marathon them.
I guess. I mean, it was just kind of gross. I mean, all that stuff. I watched Walking Dead. I got into that, but because it was a comic book. I read the comic book, but I never was a big horror guy. You like horror movies?
Yes.
Do you really?
Yes. It took me a while because I used to scare easy as a kid.
Yeah, right.
Once I got into college, my two roommates.
Well, I grew up in New Haven, so nothing scares you much than you grow up in the real world's a lot frightening than anything in fantasy world. Because, yeah, you went to Southern in New Haven. I went there, too. So, yeah, it was an adventure sometimes walking across that green at night. But what is it? Do you like the gruesome stuff?
I love the creativity and how some are going different directions.
Yeah.
Like in comics, I love the costume designs. You know, when you see the Jason mask or just Freddy Krueger in general.
Right.
I don't know. I like the supernatural vibe to it, and I almost appreciate those older ones more because they're not as gruesome.
Do you like ghost stories though, like Amityville Horror? Because I know the people that were the Ghostbuster people, the Warrens, they live right over down the street here from Newtown. Plus, Newtown's haunted as heck. You got that old mental facility up the street there, Fairfield Hills. That thing was on that Ghost Hunter show years ago. A lot of spooky stuff around here, you know. So you don't need to go watch TV. You should go take the camera, and go across the street.
But yes, and with horror, there's so many different routes you can go, and there's so many different followings. So if you get like one big name and kind of fill it with kind of not C-list people, but kind of
C-list.
Supporting cast and
the victims, the people that were
final
carved
girls.
up. Yeah.
People
so if
come
Freddy,
out.
Wait a minute. Now, Friday the 13th. I don't know this stuff. I'm asking serious questions. Does he kill 13 people in each movie, or is that just the day he does his stuff?
That's the day. Spoiler alert: that Jason Voorhees died as a kid. He was.
Okay, but it has nothing to do with that many victims.
No.
It's not like 10 Little Indians or something.
No,
like that.
no. It's
That was a movie years ago.
On the.
Was it like The House on Haunted Hill? See, I used to see that stuff. Vincent Price. Those were real horror movies. Is it like the Hammer movies, like Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing? The Dracula pictures?
Definitely the inspiration comes from those.
Okay, because that I watched, but those were like classics, you know.
So they kind of took the idea of like the bad luck. I think that's where it came from. Friday the 13th, and that became like a holiday. So they just that's when he died.
The guy in his sleep, that's Freddy Krueger, right?
Correct.
It's Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yes.
Did they all take place on Elm Street?
Only him.
Oh,
Except for
why
Freddy.
do people just move? I don't understand. If it's that, just get the hell away from Elm Street.
Why do they keep going to camp?
Right? I don't get it either. And that Halloween with the Jamie Lee Curtis stuff, just don't give out candy. You'll be all right.
You could have a panel on how to survive a horror movie.
It seems pretty obvious, isn't it? It's like, just saying, like those airplane movies years ago. It's like, take a train. Don't do that. They don't do those years ago. When I was a kid, we had airplane movies. Remember that? Every couple of years there'd be an airplane disaster.
And
just saying.
Kind of segueing from horror back in the comics somewhat.
Oh, yeah, I'll be
Batman.
on this all day. Yeah. Oh, back to Batman. Yeah.
Famous iteration of the Joker.
Yes.
And talk about voiceovers. Mark Hamill, most well known, he just announced at WonderCon last week that he's going to voice the Chucky, the evil doll.
Yeah, that's one of those pictures too, right?
Yep.
Chucky,
and
Child's Play.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, I know.
And he's going to be the movies. I think pretty much everything else is filmed for because it comes out in June, so I'm sure they're just about to go in the post.
Yeah,
and he's going to do all the voices.
Probably like a day for him.
Probably,
I mean, he does this all the time, So no, that's cool. So I guess that's big news for you horror guys, huh?
Definitely.
I'm too worried. I got the Avengers coming up. I'm like laser-like focused. Nothing's happening between now and April 25th, right? 5 o'clock Thursday, the day before. That's when I have my tickets.
Nice.
Making sure I don't drive very far. Making sure I'm taking the vitamins.
Staying off social media.
I got something ruined. Thanks, Lego. Lego ruined something for me the other day. I was like just looking. I go, what the hell? Don't want to ruin it for people.
I stayed off social media that whole week for Infinity War.
Yeah.
And we were going the Saturday morning. So I was
spoiled.
Thursday I was fine. Friday went to actually the Crescent Players put on a show.
Yes,
I had
I
some
was a
friends
Crescent
there.
player at Southern.
So I was fine, and then my buddy was like, "Oh, come to the bar." I'm like, "Sure." Go to this
No.
old dive bar of men from 30 to 60, all sports fans. Never heard a syllable of anything to do with comics. Someone walks in.
And they told you Thanos was Captain America's father. Son of a... Oh, was that...
Was that what Lego did?
I guess you're not supposed to know that. Sorry. I was at Jim Starlin's house 2 weeks ago. He knows a lot of stuff. That's all I'm going to say. I was like, what? No! He's like, oh, forget I said that. So, I've got secrets. I know stuff. I know things you're not supposed to know. You'll find out in a couple weeks.
And we have Endgame coming out.
Yes.
Captain Marvel came out last
month. And then the other Captain Marvel
came out
last night, actually, when you talked. I saw it a couple days ago. But yes, Shazam, which is really awkward because they don't have a name for him in the movie. Because he can't say it, because he turned back into Billy Batson. And if he said, what's your name? Shazam. Boom, he's back. Oh, I meant Shazam. And then he's back. And then you're like, whoa. So what is your name? Due to trademark obligations, we can't say Captain Marvel, so they don't give him a name in the movie. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life. But what are you going to do?
Did you enjoy both?
Oh, yeah. Shazam's really funny. I mean, not like a comedy, but it's really lighthearted. It's a good superhero movie. It's a family film. I don't know where it fits in the big broad scheme because you got that dark Man of Steel, and then you got the dark Batman versus Superman world, and then you have Aquaman, which is kind of changing around, and Wonder Woman. And this is totally, happy times and kid stuff, and it's just it's like reading. I'm trying to put it like the Spectre comic, and then you go read Casper the Friendly Ghost. They're both ghosts, but one's a lot of horrific stuff, and the other one's kind of like ooh. So anyway, yeah, go see it. But poor Shazam, not Captain Marvel, because he's got to deal with Hellboy. I think this week.
That's right.
I think Hellboy comes out Friday.
Yep.
Then he's got a week off, and then he's got the Avengers. And once the Avengers, it's open. Like there's a 16 movie theater near my house. The Avengers is playing like I think 10 out of 16 shows the first couple days. It's like, why don't you just call it Avengers Theater for a couple weeks? There's nothing. And then Disney has.
Dumbo's out now.
Dumbo's out now. No. There's
Aladdin.
Aladdin comes out. Then The Lion King.
Then Frozen 2.
Then Frozen 2. Disney's just like raking the bucks, and then they got Star Wars, and they got Spider-Man, which is Sony and them. But yeah, it's crazy about the movies. This might be the year that just makes everyone just go, ugh, I can't take it anymore. It's great, but it's exhausting.
That being said, people think, after Endgame, that'll be it. They just acquired all the Fox characters.
I know. Now we got to deal with all. I think what they're going to do. I've said this on other podcasts. They're going to probably take a year or two off from those X-Men movies just to get everyone's clean the palate type of thing. Like, just get that bad taste out of your mouth. That Age of Apocalypse was a horrific movie, and the Dark Phoenix that we forgot that comes out. And does anyone even care? I've seen the trailers. I was like, what? My son goes, didn't they already bring the Phoenix back? I go, yeah. He goes, well, what are you doing it again for? I go, I don't know. And the Fantastic Four, we don't talk about that movie.
What movie?
Yeah, exactly. And then, Fox, Fantastic Four. Yeah, we'll see. I think I've had people tell me, wouldn't it be great if the Avengers ends with like the Fantastic Four flare in the sky, and you're like, what's that? And then fade to black. But I don't think they're going to do that.
Or even shot in blank space, and you just hear whoosh.
Or the Silver Surfer. Oh yeah. Or just Wolverine popping his claws and like to be continued, because that would be cool too. But.
And
I don't know.
On one podcast, how they always do Spider-Man will return at the end?
Yeah.
Could you imagine, instead of having like that one Comic-Con where Feige releases the whole phase?
Yeah. When he shows all the Fantastic Four will return.
Yeah, so he'll do
and the
all
X-Men.
of them. So Spider-Man Homecoming 2, Doctor Strange 2, debuting Fantastic Four May 2020.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if they did something like that.
Oh, I'm sure they will. That D23 convention is what you're talking about. That's when he stood up on stage. Because they really don't tell you what's coming out. I know thank God we got James Gunn back for Guardians 3. And then we have Black Widow, they say, is coming out next year. I'm assuming there's going to be a Black Panther 2. I'm assuming there might be another Ant-Man movie, though I don't know if you need it or not. Captain Marvel 2, probably. What else is there?
Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange 2, yeah. I saw the Eternals. I don't know how they're going to do that, but
We said that about Guardians.
that's true.
That's
True. That's true. I'm not going to. But the Inhumans was bad. There is a thing called Inhumans that they did make. I saw it in the theater, and then it was on a TV every week for like 12 weeks, and it was really bad. And then they lost all the Netflix pictures, or the shows, whatever you call them, the miniseries. The Punisher and Daredevil, which Daredevil was great. Punisher was great first season, second season not so great. Luke Cage was good. I didn't like Jessica Jones. Iron Fist, whatever. Iron Fist season 2 got good. I mean, it picked up big time. And then we have cartoons coming. We have Kevin Smith doing cartoons for Hulu, is it?
Yeah, like MODOK.
Howard the Duck, and Squirrel Girl,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, and then there's something else they just announced too. Oh, the What If show. Yeah, but it's going to be animated.
It's cool. It gives them more freedom.
What If was like one of my favorite books growing up because you could. What if the Spider-Man joined the Fantastic Four? What if Bruce Banner had the Hulk's brain? What if Thor was Jane Foster, which they actually just did? But that's cool. But they're going to be animated though, so I wonder if they're going to have the voices of Chris Evans and all that. Plus, you got the live action Loki shows coming on, and Scarlet Witch shows coming on. The Winter Soldier and Falcon, the Odd Couple. So there's so much stuff. Yeah. Did you watch Cloak and Dagger? That came back. I never finished season 1.
Never. It was on the DVR, but we needed space, and
yeah,
we're just talking Marvel right now. There's the CW
the
shows,
CWs.
There's
Oh
the
yeah.
DC Universe.
Black Lightning's probably the best out of all the CW.
I
like
to
that
finish
one.
that. I was invested in that one.
Arrow's going off, which is fine because Arrow was getting a little long in the tooth. Should have gone off like 2 years ago.
Had a good run. I had some
8
good
years
seasons.
is a long time for the Green Arrow. Let me tell you, guy with a bunch of arrows. The Flash, Supergirl, Gotham's coming to an end. We were just talking about that before you got here, which is a great show. It's just a crazy Batman world. But and what's the other one we're forgetting?
Gotham.
Flash. Oh, Legends. Legends of Tomorrow.
I kind of clocked out. I respect
Legends
it,
is fun, but it's out there. It's all right. It's funny.
Krypton.
I didn't finish Krypton. I saw
So we're
it.
still working probably a quarter.
And Runaways. I never watched that. Yeah, there's just too much, dude. There's too many shows.
You review kind of Game of Thrones when you're on PLR. I bought the box set of Black
Have you
Friday.
tried to finish them all before the show? I think that's next week,
Yep.
right? Yeah.
Since Black Friday, I'm an episode and a half in.
I got up to season 4 because I've been trying to watch them all, and I was getting confused with all the names and who was sleeping with who and whose brother and sister's who and whatever. But everybody loves that show. I'm not saying it's a bad show. I'm just saying it's confusing. Or I'm just, a short attention span. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Yes.
Anything else? So you have the conventions coming
Yeah,
up.
yep.
What else is going on with Mitch? You mentioned that you've been drawing more. And
Yeah, I started drawing again just for the heck of it. Did that. Keeps me busy at night. I don't needlepoint or anything like that. I'm Chaz and AJ. I'll be back on there on Monday morning at 7:30 talking about, I think, Shazam. I don't know. I'm back on there every other week. Nothing much. Podcast, promoting the shows. I'll be driving around to conventions. I'll be here for Free Comic Book Day with Jerry Ordway and a bunch of other folks. Adam Walenta, who does Punk Taco, he'll be here. Nothing. You'll just see me. I'm going up to, what's this show up north in New Hampshire? There's a old school Comic-Con or something. Little
really?
Giant Comic. It's a really good one I heard. Cliff's Cons. I'll be there in Plainville, Connecticut. They have those. I go to those every month, I think. But yeah, no, that's about it. That's what else do you want me to go? Got a podcast every week with Jerry Ordway called the Power Cosmic Podcast. We review movies. Still doing the Indie Cast after 12 years, which is sad. That's about it, Mike. I don't know. You need me to wash your car or something? Or you got oil change? I got time tomorrow. I got nothing to do. A couple extra bucks wouldn't help, Come on. You got to get those guests here somehow.
I know. Incentives.
That's it.
But yeah, really looking forward to Terrificon. That's August 9th to the 12th.
Get it right. No, the 12th would be Monday. That's 4 days, not yet.
I'm trying to hint.
August 9th to the 11th. Yes, August 9th, 10, and 11. George Perez will be there Friday only, but we're going to open up early. So if you want to see George Perez, he will be there all day Friday from probably 11 in the morning to 8 at night. He's signing 12 items for free. So bring in your whole Crisis on Infinite Earths collection. And he's going to pick a bunch of lucky folks 30 days before the show. You write in, and George will pick your name, and he'll draw you a head sketch. And that's it. But not a lot, because he's retired. He's done. No more comics. Did a long career during comic books, that fella did. So, that's that.
Awesome. Well, as always, Mitch, really appreciate
Oh,
it.
Michael,
It's always a fun time talking
Thank you,
about.
it is. I'm just tired. Sorry, I was just like fighting off a cold. But yeah, hold on. Let me get the poster. See the whole thing. Look at that. Special effects. See that? Look at that. 3D. That's coming right at you. Look at that. Drew by Jerry Ordway. He's chained to in the basement. I throw a bloody pork chop down to him every now and then just to give him alive. I'm like, "Draw that damn cover, Ordway, or you're not getting a pork chop today." It's like Silence of the Lambs, you know. So, but that's it, Mike. That's all I got. I'll see you in August.
That's all we got, guys. Take it easy.